Hey guys, and welcome to my Warframe tutorial on the Warframe builds. And the first Warframe build I want to talk to you guys about is the Ash Bladestorm build. And first I want to start off by stating out the stats real quick. My power strength being at 185%, the power range being at 145%, and the power efficiency being at 175, and which don't matter too much, which is the duration of the build, which is at 20%. And next off, I want to show you some of the recommended mods. I personally recommend the aura mod being steel charged, all maxed out, because the steel charge aura mod is going to directly affect the Bladestorm build. Okay, next would be the Transient Fortitude, which right now I don't have it maxed out, but will increase the power strength. And again, it does take away power duration, and again, power duration doesn't matter with this build and everything. So next would be power drift, which increases the 15% power strength and increases the chance to resist knockdown by 30%. And again, the 30% knockdown chance, resist knockdown doesn't matter. What we're using this mod for is the 15% power strength increase. And the Redirection mod, again, I don't have it maxed out, but it's at a really good 320% shield capacity, because again, the Bladestorm build, you really are not going to rely on health as much. So what you really need to focus on is the shield capacity, which is why I got Redirection on here. Next is Fleeting Expertise, which increases the power efficiency by 60%. That way you're not spending so much energy when you're activating Bladestorm, and it decreases the power duration by 60%. Again, power duration doesn't nearly matter in this build. And Intensify, which increases the power strength again by another 30%. Alright, which helps the damage output of the Bladestorm a lot. And then you have Streamline, which is another good rare mod to put on this build, which increases the power efficiency by another 30%. And with builds like these, especially like a Bladestorm build for Ash, the power range is going to be critical in terms of how many enemies it actually touches. So any kind of stretch mod such as this one, which increases the power range by 45%, is actually going to be good for you in this build. And also another critical mod that you can put on Ash, or any build like this, or any build period, mind you, which would be either Flow or Prime Flow. And either one is fine, but I recommend Prime Flow if you have it. If not, then regular Gold Flow would do. Alright, which increases the max amount of magic, not magic, but energy that you have max. And on top of you having a good power efficiency, you basically aren't gonna run out of energy too much. So with all these mods that I have on here, it's time to really go into why I recommend these mods. Okay, again, steel charge. Bladestorm is directly affected by steel charge. Next would be Transient Fortitude, Intensify, and Power Drift. Again, those three directly increases the damage of your Bladestorm. Okay, and Stretch and Cunning Drift. Those two are the critical mods that you gotta put on there, which increases the range of your Bladestorm. Fleeting expertise and streamline would be next, which is increase the power efficiency without really harming the build too much. Okay, and then again, last but not least, is what I wanted to explain is redirection, which makes you more durable while trying to get more melee combo hits in before you begin to do your Bladestorm again. So redirection not only helps you stay alive a lot longer by increasing your shield capacity, it helps you get a lot more melee kills in or melee hits in before you reactivate your Bladestorm. Okay, and the optional mods that I would like to talk to you about is Coaction Drift, which increases your aura strength by 15% and the aura effectiveness by 15% maxed out, which will in turn increase your steel charge aura mod, okay, by another 15%, and also increases its aura effectiveness by 15%. And another optional mod, the second one that I would like to talk about, is Rising Storm, which is a Bladestorm augment mod, which increases the melee multiplier, lasts 100% longer before it actually resets maxed out. Okay, and now that I've got into the optional mods as far as the Warframe itself, weapon mods, you know, it might vary from player to player, but here's what I personally put on here, which is Decisive Judgment for the Nakanas, Pressure Point to increase melee damage, Life Strike for the health regeneration, because since this is a Bladestorm slash melee build, Jagged Edge, which increases the slash damage for this weapon, Spoiled Strike, which increases the damage by another 100%, minus 20% attack speed. And for me personally, attack speed doesn't matter with, you know, certain melee weapons. All it matters is the damage output of those weapons. And then Field Strike, which is just something I threw up on here. You might want to, you know, change it up a little bit as far as, you know, either doing raw damage itself or elemental damage. So I just put, you know, Fever Strike on here because Toxin is my favorite kind of elemental damage to do. And to offset the negative 20% of Spoil Strike, I put on Fury, which adds another 30% attack speed. So, and Berserker, which adds another 30% attack speed for 24 seconds on critical hit, which helps out a lot. And Energy Channel, which converts 200% of energy used into bonus damage on the next melee attack. So in turn, after I activate Bladestorm, I can, you know, start attacking all the enemies within my area with my Nakana Prime. And then because of me using Bladestorm, that's a 200% of that energy use will be used to increase my melee damage. Okay, and again, the melee mods are going to be dependent on, you know, which person uses it or which player might have you. And to further go into the ability breakdown, Bladestorm, again, which is the build that we're going for. And what Bladestorm does is it does 4,000 finisher damage for just 25 energy in a 40-meter radius. And because of the efficiency mods that we have on Ash right now, that Bladestorm will not take as much energy as it's saying. Originally it's going to take 25% in a 40-meter radius, and it's gonna, and again, because of those efficiency mods, it's going to do less than that 25% energy when you activate this ability. And then again, because we have stretch, the stretch mod on Ash, that 40-meter attack radius for Bladestorm will be increased. So you wouldn't, you know, so the mods that we put on Ash is going to help out not only with damage energy consumption and range is gonna really help you out as far as staying alive and doing a lot of crowd control as far as with this build goes. And now that I got, the basic mod setup down, at least from my standpoint of view, is I want to go into what the pros and cons of this build is. The two pros that I found out with this build is that it's extremely good with AoE damage against any enemy that's corpus, infected, grenier, corrupted, whatever, and it also scales extremely well with damage as well, and I haven't tested it out with all the melee weapons yet, but I will try to test that theory out in the future to see if the damage output does scale with different melee weapons. And the only con that I found out with this build, and it's kind of boring to use the build, to be honest, because all you're doing is just spamming Bladestorm, and it's kind of like one-sided, at least, because all you do is spam like one button all the time. But and when you try to increase your melee counter in Bladestorm, the cast to make it more interesting. That's the only two cons that I found out with this build. And now that I got, the mod breakdown for the Warframe, the weapon, the mods for the Warframe and the weapon, I got the ability breakdown that, I wanted to get across, the pros and cons. And again, this is my first Warframe build tutorial, so hope you guys like it. Like this video, comment down below if you want to see some other builds that you want me to try out. And down in the description link I will put my Twitter account, so if you want me to do any builds again, just message me on my Twitter. And this is your boy Phoenix Rain, and I'm out. Peace.